She thought it was just a game, until it wasn't. In the small village of Macondo, the sun burned hot over the red earth. The air was still, the animals were quiet, and in a small clay house near the edge of the village, a little girl named Zuri was home alone. She was only 7. Her mother, Mama Binta, had left early for the market. She packed a basket of cassava, kissed Zuri's cheek, and said the same thing she always said. Be good. Stay inside. Don't open the door for anyone. Zuri nodded. She always listened. But that day felt different. The house was too quiet, the hours too long. Then came a knock. "Zuri!" called a familiar voice. It was Jabari, the boy from next door. He was 9. He sometimes came over to play, but only when their mothers were home. "I have something fun," he said. "Just open for a second." Zuri stood by the door. She hesitated, then slowly turned the key. Jabari stepped in with a grin. He held a toy made from bottle caps and string. They laughed, played, sat on the mat. Everything felt normal, until it didn't. "Let's play doctor," Jabari said. Zuri looked confused. "What do you mean?" "Just lie down," he said. "I'll show you." She giggled, then paused. His hands moved in a way that didn't feel like a game. Zuri frowned. "Why are you doing that?" Jabari didn't answer. He looked serious, then said softly, "Don't tell anyone. It's just for fun." Zuri sat up fast. Her stomach turned. She pulled her dress back down. Something felt wrong, very wrong. And for the first time ever, she wished she had obeyed her mother's words. "What did you know?" In some African traditions, children are believed to carry ancestral spirits. Their silence can echo pain long buried. Zuri sat still long after Jabari left. She didn't cry. She didn't move. She just stared at the cracks in the wall, like they were telling her a secret. Her chest felt tight. Her fingers fidgeted. She didn't understand what had happened, but she knew one thing for sure. She didn't like it. When Mama Binta finally returned, the sun was low. The sky was golden, and her feet were tired. She pushed open the door with her elbow, balancing a heavy basket of cassava on her hip. "Zuri," she called with a smile. "I brought your favorite, fried plantain." Zuri turned her head slowly. She smiled, not a real smile, just enough to look normal. Mama Binta didn't notice. She set the food on the table, started humming a tune. She didn't ask what Zuri did that day. She never did. Not when she was tired. Zuri ate quietly. The taste didn't matter. Her thoughts were loud. She wanted to forget what happened, to pretend it didn't happen at all. And maybe, if she stayed quiet, it would never happen again. But she was wrong. The next day felt just like the one before. Mama Binta left early again. Same basket, same goodbye, same lock on the door. Zuri nodded like before. But inside, she didn't feel like the same girl. She sat by the window, watching kids play with a tire in the street. Laughter echoed from outside, but she didn't laugh. She just waited, and like a shadow returning at the same hour, came the knock. "Zuri!" It was Jabari. Again. This time she didn't ask who it was. She didn't hesitate. Her feet moved on their own. She opened the door. Jabari smiled, holding another toy. They sat down like yesterday. The mat, the giggles, the quiet moment. And then, "Let's play that game again," he said. Zuri froze for just a second, then nodded slowly. No questions this time, no words, just silence. Jabari led. Zuri followed. Her face was still. Her eyes were far away. She didn't giggle. She didn't smile. She just waited for it to end. Did you know? In many rural African homes, children are often left alone during the day, even at young ages, because survival requires every adult to work. That night, Zuri couldn't sleep. She stared at the ceiling, watching shadows crawl like ants. Every creak in the wall felt loud. Every breath felt heavy. She turned over, turned again, but the feeling wouldn't leave. It wasn't fear exactly. It was smaller, sharper, like something crawling under her skin. The next morning, Mama Binta braided Zuri's hair like always. She hummed softly as her fingers worked through the strands. Zuri winced when her scalp pulled, not because it hurt, but because her whole body felt tight. "You're quiet," Mama Binta said. Zuri shrugged. "Just tired." Mama nodded. She didn't ask more. She never did. Zuri almost said something. She opened her mouth once, but no words came out. Because how do you explain something you don't even understand? And how do you tell the truth when part of you believes it was your fault? A few days passed. Jabari knocked again. Zuri didn't open. She sat on the mat staring at the door. Her hands were in her lap. Her jaw was clenched. Jabari called again. "Zuri, I brought sweets." Still, she didn't move. Eventually, he left. Zuri let out a breath she hadn't realized she was holding. Later that day, her aunt from the next village came to visit. She brought cola nuts, dry fish, and stories. Zuri sat beside her, quiet as always, until her aunt looked at her and said something strange. "Your eyes, they don't smile." Zuri blinked. Her aunt leaned closer. "Did something happen?" Zuri looked away. "No," she said. But her voice cracked, just a little, barely enough to notice. But Mama Binta noticed. She turned her head slowly, looked at Zuri for the first time in days, really looked. And what she saw was not her daughter's face. It was a mask, a quiet, tired, frightened mask. That night, after the aunt had gone, the house was quiet again. Mama Binta swept the floor slowly. She watched Zuri out of the corner of her eye. The little girl wasn't playing, wasn't drawing, wasn't humming, just sitting, still. "Zuri," Mama said gently, Is something bothering you? Zuri shook her head. Are you sure? Another nod. Mama Binta put the broom down. She sat beside her daughter on the mat. You haven't been smiling, she said. Your laugh used to fill this house. Zuri didn't reply. Mama placed her hand over Zuri's. Her voice softened. You know you can tell me anything, right? Zuri's lips parted. A breath escaped, but no words came. Mama Binta waited. Zuri looked at the wall, then the floor, then the door. She wanted to speak, but something in her chest held the words hostage. So she stayed silent. Again. The next morning, the knock came again. Tap, tap. Zuri! She didn't move. Open up! She stayed still. But this time, Mama Binta was home. She walked toward the door, confused. Who's that? She asked. Zuri's heart jumped. She opened her mouth. To speak? To shout? She didn't know, but her body moved first. No! She ran to the door, stood in front of it with her arms outstretched. Mama Binta stopped, stared. Zuri's hands were shaking. Please, she whispered, don't open it. Binta knelt down. Her eyes searched her daughter's face. Zuri, she said softly, tell me what's going on. And just like that, the wall broke. Zuri's eyes filled with tears. She shook her head, then nodded, then whispered, He did something, twice. I didn't like it. Mama Binta froze. The world stopped moving. She pulled Zuri into her arms, tight, tighter. Zuri cried without sound, a pain that had no name. But now, it had a witness. Subscribe now for more real African stories that speak where words fail. Mama Binta didn't let go for a long time. She held Zuri like she was holding her heart, because in many ways she was. Later that day, she sat her daughter down, made warm porridge, washed her feet like when she was a baby, and listened. Listened to the words that came slow, broken, painful, but honest. Then Mama stood up. She went next door, and she knocked, once, hard. Voices were raised, doors slammed. But Zuri didn't hear most of it. She just sat on the mat, wrapped in her mother's wrapper, safe, seen, heard. Did you know? In many African folk tales, justice isn't given by courts, but by confrontation, by truth spoken in the open. From that day, everything changed. Jabari never came again. And Mama Binta? She never left Zuri home alone. Not for 1 hour, not for 1 minute. Because now she knew some dangers don't knock like monsters. They knock like children. And sometimes they smile. What would you do if someone you trusted hurt your child? Comment below. Let your voice be heard. I hope you enjoyed the story. If you did, please give the video a like. Share what you learned in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more enchanting tales like this one. Thank you for being part of the journey.